Welcome into Gamesthetic episode 160. Hopefully you're having a phenomenal day today, whether if you're watching it live alongside us, watching after the fact, or listening to it after the fact. No matter what, we appreciate the hell out of you. No Zach yet. He'll be here, I think. We'll see. But I have John over Discord. John, how are you?
I'm doing good. So I was watching the Sparking Zero trailer.
So good, right?
Oh yeah,
Actual
like,
gameplay.
as soon as you were like, "You good to go?" I clicked play. So I'm like, "Yeah, sure. I'll just pause this when we get there."
Yeah, so good.
Yeah,
Actual gameplay. Can't wait. Yeah, one of the things that that they also kind of revealed at the end is they kind of revealed like your first little teaser of the character roster, and it does appear that they are sticking to the plans that they've done in the past with Budokai Tenkaichi 2 and 3, where it's just an ungodly amount of characters, and they count all the transformations and forms of characters. So like it's already confirmed where we're gonna have Goku Z early, Goku Z mid Super Saiyan, etc. If you're a Dragon Ball fan, you played those games, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you never played one of those games, you're just like, what the hell is this guy on about? But that's cool to see. It's going to be a massive roster. It's going to be great. I cannot wait for that game. I can't wait to actually get an announce range of when it's coming out. But for today's episode, whenever Zach shows up, we do have Tekken 8 that he's going to be chatting about. No Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. He'll chat about that at some point in the future. Of course, more Palworld, because John's probably put 127 hours into Palworld at this point. I have no idea. I'm just ballparking. We got a controversy.
105.
Oh, I'm actually not too far off. Look at that. Let's go. I've played some more Palworld. I've just been playing some other stuff. Beat Persona 5 Royal for my second time this week. Enjoyed that immensely. Just been kind of playing some other things. I'm in a massive Persona mood. I'm very pumped for Reload this weekend. So I beat Royal, been playing Tactica. Want to play Strikers at some point, but I'm so pumped for Persona 3 Reload this weekend. Cannot wait to talk about that on the next episode of Gamesthetic. But yeah, so Palworld, talk about that some more. Got some controversy around it, some general conversation about it. Stuff about the Switch 2 kind of came out. Touch on that. The unfortunate thing that we hate to keep talking about at some point is we have a massive layoff that came and got hit here recently involving Xbox, so we'll touch on that and just a bunch of other random things throughout the weekly wrap-up, of course. But if you want to support us further, you can check out some Rogue Energy with the referral link down below. Promo code SPARK3 to get 10% off your order. It's delicious. I recommend getting the Rocket Pop. I'm out of Rocket Pop. I need to get some more. It's delicious. Try that one. Join the Discord, be a friend, tell a friend, and buy a jersey from Agent Inc. because they're sick. We have one that has a trash can on it. Why wouldn't you want that? That's awesome. Let me turn down the music and we can kind of start jumping into some stuff. We do have a chatter in tonight. Old friend, hadn't been in here in a while. Shout out to Becca here. Did ask a question. Y'all end up going over Modern Warfare 3. I've been slacking off. None of us ended up getting it. I was interested because
3.
Yeah, I was interested because they just reused all the classic Modern Warfare 2 maps. But I didn't end up getting it. There were just some other things at the time, that I think we were all playing. It's one of those things Zach, no interest in him at all. I had interest because I loved Modern Warfare 2, and John is literally always a wild card with COD where he can randomly get one and get hard into it.
Yeah, it's one of those where at this point, every 3 to 4 years, I'm going to get heavy into a COD that comes out.
Yeah, it just happens
randomly. But in between that time frame, I have no interest.
Yeah, see, that's John's COD cycle. Is there's just one random one that will come out, and the thing is as well for John, it's never like the one that comes out that he jumps into is like one of the best CODs ever. It's just a solid COD, and John's like, I'm in a COD mood, and then all of a sudden dumps 80 hours into it.
It's literally just I'll see the game comes out sometimes, and I go playing COD all of a sudden, and then I play it for 500 hours.
Yeah, that's just the cycle of John and COD. So no, didn't end up getting it. We've been busy with some other stuff, like Palworld, for example. Since Zach's not here to talk about Tekken 8, we'll start with some Palworld stuff. Palworld's taken over the world. Sales numbers are unbelievable. So let's actually start there because it kind of starts with all the controversy stuff, right? So I think the last number I saw is that Palworld has sold over 8 million copies on Steam. Plus, they've got other 2 million players that have downloaded via Game Pass, that being me. I'm one of those. And the whole controversy behind it. We'll touch on the controversy stuff
You're,
before we get to what you've been up to. Because you're
I
still
was gonna
playing
say I
it.
don't know if it's just me, but you're cutting in and out a little bit.
I have no idea if it's just me. No clue. If it is what it is. Um, we'll keep moving forward. I don't hear anything on
Yeah,
my end. I have no idea. If it is, I apologize for everyone listening. We'll just have to go back. It might be your headset. I don't know.
it might be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But anyway, so the big controversy, and I'm curious if this caught you by a surprise. Pokemon actually responded. Pokemon responded to Palworld. So, in case you missed it, there was a Pokemon mod that already got put up for Palworld very quickly and also got taken down very
Oh, it
quickly.
got taken down very quickly.
Very fast. And the thing is, like, people immediately started pointing out to like other Pokemon mods, like Arc has one, and some other games have Pokemon mods that's like been up for years and never been touched. And it's like this one gets taken down so quick. It's like Pokemon's paying attention. That's the main thing. Pokemon is paying attention. And then they put out like a long statement, where it's like we received many inquiries regarding another company's game released in 2024, talking about how they did not grant any use of the permission of the property. I think that's referring to the mod. But they did say they intend to investigate and take appropriate measures to address any acts of infringement on intellectual property. So Pokemon will be investigating Palworld, and with the sales that Palworld's been doing, I think, and them taking down that mod as quick as they did, and actually putting out a statement, I think the main thing here, and I think you can agree with me, is that Pokemon sees Palworld as their first real legitimate competition. Would you agree to that?
I don't. Here's the thing. I don't know if it's as much like competition. Is It's the first one. It's the first game that's come up with the creature catching aspect of it that has generated enough noise to where they have to pay attention.
Right.
And it's like, and then you got everybody, like fucking everybody going crazy about how it's like some of them look, or some of the pals look similar to Pokemon. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where at, it's like, yeah, some of them are real close. It's like there's no denying how close some of the creatures look. But then also at the same time, it's kind of like when you're taking this kind of like stylized look at and making creatures based off of real animals, or at least a lot of them are based off of like animals and that. There's only so much you can do with it or there's only so much designing you can do around it to get away from saying, oh, well, this is gonna look similar. Where it's like, okay, well, yeah, in a lot of aspects, it doesn't matter how similar it actually looks. People are always gonna compare it. It's like you have a water type penguin pal over here, or whatever game ends up doing it. Everybody's gonna compare it to Pokemon, no matter how close it actually looks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's generated a lot of noise. But one thing to keep in mind is uh, both of these companies, like they're both Japanese companies, and they've been working at Palworld openly for years.
Yeah.
If Nintendo or Game Freak or whoever, if they were gonna go after them, why would they have let it get this far?
Yeah, see, that's the big thing that people seem to be forgetting because, like, I've seen some like content creators and stuff say, "Oh, Pokemon is going to sue them into oblivion." It's just like if they would have done that, they would have already done it. They would have already sent them a cease and desist because you cannot tell me they wouldn't have done that when you look at everything else that Nintendo has done for projects in the works. Like I think there was like I don't remember exactly what it was. I thought it was like some like really high scaled fan mod of Ocarina of Time that was being worked on for an emulator. And it was like getting a lot of traction. People like they were sending out more updates about it. People getting excited for this high def like Ocarina of Time mod, and Nintendo ended up hitting them with a cease and desist. So it's like that's the big thing people seem to forget about Palworld is like I think the people that are saying this about Palworld are the people not like me, you, and Zach that have known about Palworld for a while. You know what I mean?
It's like Palworld released, and it's the first they heard of it, and they just saw it blowing up.
Yes. Well, while this has been a thing that's been revealed for a while. So I
Yeah,
think
it's
that's the
like
kind of the weird thing right
yeah,
now.
it's like we've known about this game for a long time, or like at least a couple years at this point.
Yeah.
And when it came out, we didn't know it was going to be a survival craft game. We just assumed Pokemon with guns. If at any point in time, like they were actually going to go after him and try to hit him with a cease and desist or any sort of lawsuit, it would have been immediately after that first trailer dropped.
June 5th, 2021. That was the announced trailer of Palworld.
Yeah,
Nintendo and Game Freak had plenty of time.
it's like that trailer dropped, and I guarantee, like part of their team was immediately tasked with, can we get him?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no doubt.
And
Can
it's
we
like,
send the ninjas?
yeah, we're a couple years out from that at this point.
Yeah.
It's like I'm half convinced that they released that statement saying we'll investigate and look into it just to get people to stop sending it to them,
Yeah, get them just
or
stop
hopefully to get
asking.
people to be like, hey, we've seen it, we know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. And I think with how it's being blown up and stuff, like, I really do think Nintendo views it as competition because the sales numbers for it in a week are insane. Again, 8 million sold on Steam, 2 million plus downloaded on Game Pass. So I pulled up the other day sales numbers for all the Pokemon games on the Switch only. So this is like lifetime sales. Let's go through it. Sword and Shield at 26.02 mil. Scarlet Violet at 23.23 mil. Let's Go Pichu and Eevee at 15.07. Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl at 1506. And then Pokemon Legends Arceus at 1483. Million units sold. So like, and that's lifetime. So the fact Power World's crossed 8 mil sold plus another 2, so 10 mil people of players in a single week versus these lifetime sales. I mean, you got to pay attention. And there goes John's camera. You got to pay attention to this
Can't
stuff.
can't do that, cat. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Cat is over here smacking into all of my stuff.
I'll clip that.
Should be good now.
Gonna clip that. Anyway, and the one thing I saw after they put out the statement, I saw a report from VGC's Andy Robinson, where from his sources, apparently Game Freak is also taking the criticism of Scarlet and Violet internally extremely seriously, as they should, because that game was rushed to shit. So hopefully there's a sliver of hope that the next game that comes out won't be shit. But I think them seeing what Palworld's doing, a game that's, while it's got its bugs, sure, a game that's overall pretty well polished and there's just a lot of meat to the game. I think as a top to bottom, Pokemon has got to view this as a legitimate wake up call that, okay, we sold a lot with Scarlet and Violet, sure, but like, how many players are we actually retaining? You know what I mean? Versus what we even retain with Sword and Shield. You know what I mean? Like, plus just the general reception of the game. I got to believe that they have to see Palworld as legitimate wake up call and competition. That's the way I personally think.
Well, it's also just like the fact that, I mean, hell, for 15 years we've been calling for an open world like 3D Pokemon game. We finally kind of get one with like Scarlet and Violet to an extent,
Yeah.
and then it's like, and I mean, it runs like shit. Granted, I love the game even despite
It was good.
how shitty it ran. But then we have Palworld come out, which takes a lot of the concepts. I mean, it's a different type of game in like as a base game, but as a base, here's you're out in the world, go collect your pals and do your thing. It's similar in that aspect. Big old giant world to explore and all that. The fact that we have one that it's like we have the mainline Pokemon games, which run like shit. They're still the same formula of like the older games, and it's like they've halfway put a foot out the door
Yeah.
to embracing some change. And then we have a game like Power World that comes out, and it's like, okay, so you want a creature collecting open world game with some like a big world to explore and kind of do whatever you want. Okay, we'll make that. And it turns out you take the stuff about Pokemon that we like, which is collecting the creatures and battling,
Yep.
and an open world setting where you're free to do whatever you want to, and you put it together, and you got a hit. Who would have guessed? Who would have guessed for that? Like
That
basically
concept would have worked.
exactly what we've asked for 20 years. We wanted.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's a thing of yeah. There's plenty of glitches and bugs and stuff in Palworld, but at the end of the day, I mean, the game runs great.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I'm happy for. Hell, my game's been open for like well, I restarted it earlier, but my game had been open for about 40 hours,
Mm-hmm.
and it still ran fantastic.
Right. I just saw that Zach got on Discord, so I think he's going to pop in here in a moment. Um, one thing that I was going to ask involving Pal World, and I'll be curious of Zach's thoughts as well whenever he does join the show, is I don't remember how long ago it was, and I don't even remember the context for it. Like, what was the what was the game that this ended up becoming? But I remember us talking about as a weekly wrap up thing. That at some point in time, Nintendo and Game Freak legitimately looked at making an online Pokemon game, like fully online, like open world, like MMO sort of thing, many moons ago. I don't remember if it was. I don't remember what era it is. I want to say when we talked about this leak, I think it was like the GameCube era is the one they looked at. I'm not sure. But my question is, with the success of Palworld and everything that it's doing, obviously Game Freak's going to still do their thing. We're going to have Gen 10, we're going to have Gen 11, we're going to have spin-offs, remakes, whatever. But do you think this sort of like them seeing what this game is doing, do you think it's going to help push Game Freak at all to maybe make like a Pokemon MMO? Do you think that's even in the realm of what they would consider?
Not an MMO. No, if anything, because like I said, with Scarlet and Violet, well, starting with Arceus, we got something different. Scarlet and
Yeah.
Violet took that a little bit further and a little bit closer to what we've been asking for. I think with the success of Palworld, they will have to look at it and go, okay, well, even with all the like graphical problems, how horribly optimized the game was, people really liked the concept of
Yeah.
Scarlet and Violet. Now, I think they're going to have to realize they have to expand upon that, upon that, change up their formula, make it in a sense more free, and you've got to fucking optimize it.
Right.
It's like another game that comes, or like another mainline Pokemon game, if it comes out and it runs like Scarlet and Violet, oh, they're gonna be fucking buried.
Oh yeah, they're going to be ungodly shit on, horribly buried, and
Yeah,
rightfully so.
yeah, but I don't see like a Pokemon MMO or anything. I think if, like I said, if anything, it's gonna push them to accelerate the change they've been like not really willing to like step fully into.
Mm-hmm. Hey Zach, how are you, man?
I'm good. What's up?
Not much. Talking about Power World and Pokemon and everything going on with that.
Oh, that whole controversy going on right now?
Yeah. Kind of going through it, talking about, if the whole premise behind it is like, does Pokemon legitimately view Power World as competition? In my opinion, they should and do. Just because we've never seen this sort of action from Pokemon where they actually put out a legitimate statement. You know what I mean? Like that's the first. But then also, like, would this help drive Pokemon? With seeing the success of Power World, to kind of, as a wake up call that they need to deliver a better product for Pokemon. That's kind of where we're leading on it. What's your thoughts on that? And I think he's coming.
Need
He's almost
to
here.
take this as a shot in the arm, not necessarily as competition, because I mean, Palworld does have the whole pocket monster thing, but at the same time, it's still its own unique thing. My camera's gonna be a pain in the ass. Okay,
It's all good if you can't even get it to work.
but they do. I think they should take a look at how they can change their formula based on seeing how much Palworld has blown up, going from we were just talking about it as sort of like a joke a couple weeks out to the
Yeah.
week before. Everyone's just like, Palworld, what is this? Why have we not heard of this?
Yeah,
And
exactly. Because that's what John and I were talking about earlier, and I feel like you'll agree. All these people on Twitter that's like hard under the belief that like Pokemon is going to sue them to oblivion and this and that. Like, I feel like these are legitimately the people that just found about Palworld because it's come out and blown up. Meanwhile, we've known about Palworld for a while because it's like Zach. Let's be honest. We've seen this before. If like Nintendo and Game Freak, if they were going to sue or send out a cease and desist, is the better way to put it, they would have already done it, right? We've seen that 100 times.
yeah,
Because like,
Yeah,
if
like, yeah, what I mentioned was when that first trailer came out, and everyone that saw it basically said, "Is it Pokemon with guns? Is that what we just saw?"
basically,
Like 10 minutes after that trailer came out, that letter was probably already typed up, and they were just like, "Okay, let's
can we get
cover
them?
our base before we send it."
Can we get them? you know, so that's the thing about it. Because like Zach, the example that I used earlier is that I remember that we talked about. There was like it was a weekly wrap up news. There was a like Ocarina of Time, like really high def mod that was being a fan mod that was being worked on.
yeah,
And it ended up getting shut down because Nintendo sent the cease and desist before it could ever come out. So like that was the example that I used. Like if Nintendo, if Nintendo like really wanted to shut them down, they would have already done it. So the fact they
yeah.
haven't just tells me that like I think them just saying like I think what John said about them putting out a statement is just more so them just being like, okay, we know we're getting hit up 24/7, leave us alone. Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna do anything. They're gonna
I
look
mean,
into it, but
they'll probably definitely look into it. My
yeah.
biggest thing with this sort of reminds me of the whole what was it? Paladins Overwatch,
Yeah.
because Overwatch came out and okay, my computer's freaking out now. Yeah, no, Overwatch came out and whatnot. Then Paladins released stuff like a little bit later, and people
Yeah.
just like, well, this is just Overwatch. And then anyone who knew about Paladins was like, no, 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 it's not. It's been here.
One comment from Chad: they need to understand that people like the concept, but give more freedom to the players and have it be free world. But if not, it's just gonna be a shit game no one's gonna buy. Just in reference of like the Pokemon and like the direction for it. And I agree. Because it's one of those things. It's like we have the means to do it. They have the means to do it.
Yeah,
They Game Freak and stuff, sure, they can argue before they didn't because it was always a handheld game on a 3DS, a DS, a Game Boy, whatever. We have the means to do it now. You proved that you have the means to do it with Scarlet and Violet. You just, like John mentioned, you just didn't optimize
hey,
the damn thing. And Zach's here. They can make
finally.
it, exactly the way that players have wanted for like 20 freaking years. It's just a matter
Oh
of
yeah,
will
most
they?
definitely.
And I really do believe Palworld is going to be that wake up call because it's like I predicted coming into this year. I didn't think Palworld was going to be the Pokemon killer, like everyone likes to say about Tim Tim or whatever. I just believed it was going to put its foot in the door and stay there. And I think that's exactly what we've seen. And
Oh,
because of
most
that,
definitely.
Pokemon's just like, oh, all right, we might need to step our game up a little bit. I mean, they've sold 8 million, got another 2 million downloaded, and we only had like 14 million sold on Legends. We might need
Well,
to step it
I'm
up a
not
little
even.
bit.
I mean, with it being Nintendo, I'm not even sure if it's a thing if they felt like that. Hey, maybe we should look at it. I think it's maybe more of a thing they've moved just because people are all looking at Nintendo going like, so you gonna do anything about this,
Yeah,
or
are
we
you go-
just gonna let it
Yeah,
be?
yeah, like what are
well,
we doing?
that's like I mentioned at the beginning of the show is just, I mean, I I think that statement is just more, hey, yes, we understand. Here's something so that you stop telling us,
Right.
because of the fact. I mean, this game was announced like 3 years ago. We've
Yeah,
known about it since then. These are two Japanese companies. If they were gonna do something about it, it's like they could have like sued them 3 years ago. But they probably looked into it and realized, they got enough distinction where we can't really do anything about it, and just kind of let them be. But they don't put out a public statement about it. Now the game's out and it's blown up way more than anybody expected.
yeah. I mean, we've known Nintendo's past records. If they feel like something's actually hurting their intellectual properties, they're gonna attack them. Like
Oh yeah.
that person who tried to do the Pokemon mod for Palworld, that thing got killed immediately.
Yes. And I think that's actually what the statement's more kind of focused on because they specified, we have not granted any permission of the use of Pokemon intellectual property. So I think that's where their statement kind of comes from. Is
It's
that mod
probably
happened?
because that person being modding was being very ballsy with his choice of what he wanted to mod, which
Oh
we
yeah.
understand why he chose to mod it because
Yeah.
of the cross references
Yeah.
and everything people have made since the game started blowing up. But at the same time, it's very much he very actively tried to use the Pokemon IP.
Yes, exactly. So this
Yeah,
whole
if-
situation's been interesting.
Yeah. If anything, the statement's more of a warning shot at the community of players.
I think it
rather than-
is.
rather than like
Quite
any
possibly.
development team.
Hey, another thing for everyone to keep in mind, okay? If there was going to be a legitimate threat here with Nintendo, I think even Valve would step in because Valve is very quick to the games on Steam where it's just like, hey, we don't want any trouble.
Yeah, Valve doesn't want to deal with any of this
And-
unless
and
they're somehow
especially a
involved
company-
already.
Especially
yeah.
a company like Nintendo, they're not going to want to
If-
be
if-
involved.
If Nintendo put out a statement, they were like, it's like we've looked into it. We're looking to pursue action on it. This game would be off Steam within the hour.
yeah.
Yeah, Gabe has a special button of just file delete.
Yeah, he's got the Nintendo button.
yeah, to save his ass. So I don't know. Who knows? I mean, Nintendo and they could find something. I don't think they will. I genuinely don't. I saw another thing that I also want to shout out real quick before I kind of hit the roadmap because I mean that's one thing that we were wondering last week when we talked about it. Is
Yeah.
I saw this going around on Twitter as well. For anyone that saw this and saw just that and just locked it in their brain, yep, Palworld stole stuff. It's right there. They stole it. There was a video
What?
going around of someone comparing meshes of Pokemon and Pals and how they were basically identical. So like Luxray and the what's its name? The Luxray?
Nubis.
No, Luxray.
Oh no, Luxray and it's wait, I have one
Mary's?
right.
No, something main,
No.
something main. Volt main, voltage main. I don't know.
Uh,
Either way,
I'm looking for it.
the Luxray
y-
looking one.
Rayhound.
That. They showed Lycanroc and Direwolf. They showed Anubis, Lucario, and they basically put the two meshes, the mesh models, on top of
Yeah.
each other, and they were identical. So a lot of people saw that and ran with it. It's like, oh, well, they clearly stole. This is it. Nintendo, send your ninjas. But then the person that
Cool.
originally
We
posted.
we can use the same polygons.
No. Here's the thing. The person that originally posted the meshes, admitted later in a Discord message that they edited the message to make it look more identical.
Wow, what a cuck.
Right?
Well, it's like it's that, and also the fact that like, yeah, it's like the meshes may not be identical, but they're very similar as well. So people were trying to run with that.
Yep.
But then like some developers and that have like posted videos that are like, yeah, the meshes are done this way for these creatures because like so they look similar when you lay them out like this.
Yep.
But that's because when they're actually moving around in the world, it actually looks right.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of it is just, yeah, it's similar because if you do it that way, it works.
I mean, that's using our same argument where we do with games of saying that fucking Hogwarts Legacy and what was it else we said? Forspoken or similar games.
Forspoken, yeah.
That's
Hey,
the
you
same
gotta-
argument
can
we
we-
make for just baseline stuff. If you degrade down the like things and just really take the base parts of it, yes, it's going to be similar. That's what they've done with the meshes. And just like, yeah, they're similar on their base, so they're stealing, right? Fucking hell.
Also, real quick, shout out to Forspoken boys. I made it one of my days on the 366
Yeah, I saw that
days
it popped off. And
Yeah.
there was so much big specials
I
there.
knew that would be the one to do it. I knew it would because people just like hold that game in such a shit regard. But yeah, shout out to the people that actually played this game like with this guy here. I honestly don't see why this game was so hated. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Was it game of the year? No. But was it fun? Hell yes.
Yes.
And then shout out to this guy. He's a YouTuber, I guess, because he said, weird argument because you say it doesn't deserve its price. I was implying it doesn't deserve a $70 price tag. I think that's very fair. I paid it
Yeah.
$70 and I don't regret it. John probably feels the same way. I'm just stating facts. But anyway, weird argument because you say it doesn't deserve its price and everything is mid. How's it not bad? And then he's like, and if you need a certain sense of humor to understand the dialogue, then the dialogue is bad. Lol, it's called bad writing. Shout out to this guy coming in and bringing in the sense that clearly this other dude don't have, where the guy's like, bad does not equal mid. He also said that the combat and traversal were very fun, but the story and dialogue is fine, so not everything's mid. And that's not how it works at all with humor. You're not gonna like every comedian out there, but others will. It depends on your sense of humor. That guy gets it. That guy gets it. Shout out to the cultured people on that video on the TikTok that actually agreed. Yeah, Forspoken wasn't that bad. It just wasn't great. It wasn't that
Hey,
bad though.
You gotta
Still a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
hey, you gotta remember there's people out there that were defending my take that Hogwarts Legacy and Forspoken were the same game.
Yeah. True.
It's like, I mean,
Unless-
there's some champion people out there that will defend a point.
Yep.
That argument's still very funny to me.
It is, because
man,
it's still
that's one of
accurate.
those things I said, and I was like, I'm gonna get destroyed for this one, but I'm still saying it.
And then, of course, shout out to your Starfield take. That one aged like fine wine, my friend.
Freaking how well that one.
That one aged like fine wine, my friend.
I got so much hate only to come
Hey,
up so true.
Hey, that's the thing about being an oracle is just, sometimes your takes suck, or like people don't want to hear it, and then occasionally you're just vindicated for everything.
Yep. I need to like repost that one. I need to. It's still on there, but I just need to give it a fresh coat of paint and be like, huh, look at this. It's like let's turn back the clock a little bit. Anyway, let's instead of turning back the clock, let's turn the clock forward and talk about Palworld's roadmap. So they did put that out, which is great because it's something that we obviously asked, as well as a lot of other people. Just hey, what's next? You know what I mean? So of course PvP, raid bosses, Pal Arena, so PvP for your pals, Steam and Xbox crossplay, so I can actually play with you guys because I'm a loser and I'm playing on Xbox. Various Xbox feature improvements. Honestly, I don't even know what features I'm missing because I haven't watched anyone play it on PC. So I mean, when it comes, cool. I'll get to see what you guys have. I don't know what it is. Game is fine for me. Server transfers and migrations, so that's nice. Improvements to building. Oh my god, I don't know if you guys saw this, but I saw a video involving the building. Oh my god, it was one of the most painful like Palworld clips. Is the way that it was like referenced, where a streamer is just like trying to like build his base, and he had like 2 sets of stone steps, and like based on how his camera is moving, you could kind of see the giant stone base that was right above him. He didn't look up directly at it. He was trying to figure out how to get something to work right. He's just like, oh yeah, I probably just need to delete these stairs real quick. So he went over these stairs, delete the stairs, everything exploded. That was above. That was all connecting
man.
it.
I did not know that was a thing.
Yeah, I'll find the clip and I'll send it to you guys. Everything exploded above. You just see rocks fall. He just it's just stunned.
See, the only exploding thing I've seen is the whole catch a pal and catch a ride on the ball as it captures them.
I haven't seen that one. No, I'll have to send you guys
if you
this
catch
clip.
a pal, you can climb onto the pal ball, and if it succeeds in the catch, it'll launch you into the air.
Mm-hmm.
Then somebody with the rocket launcher uses the rocket launcher to shoot out pal balls from the sky and capture like 15, 20 pals all at once.
That's fantastic. And then the last one, of course, new islands, pals, bosses, and tech. So that's cool. That's the other thing. Is like, hey, when they introduce new pals, they're just going to drop them in. There's going to be new islands. What's going to be? There's our answer. So that's great.
Yeah.
Which always makes you wonder, because the map's already decently large for the size of it. How big of a map are we going to end up when this game is full release?
Right.
Well, the actual, like, if you open up the map, all of that fog of war is not reachable right now.
Yeah.
So it's like, because I was showing Alex, I was streaming my game to him before we started. Because if you go up in the air and you kind of look around, there's a giant tree out in the distance.
Okay.
That's on an island out there. You cannot reach that island right now.
Ah.
You can get really close. You can get close and you can see the land, but the game cuts you off. So it's like that's gonna be a future content.
That's nice to know
pretty
at least
sure.
the assets are already in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like
Prep.
so. And with this, like me having tried to go to that island, there's a lot of space left out on that map that they can just drop stuff in, which will be nice.
Oh, speaking of the map, are my pals dead yet?
Are
y'all not at those bases anymore?
Oh no, I'm still here. I just haven't looked at your base in a while. Let's
I
see.
haven't
Because I've
been
been
on in a few
preoccupied,
days.
so my pals have just sort of been working nonstop for like 3 or 4 days without me entering any interaction.
You have a few of them that are still alive.
Okay,
Oh, that's
cool.
good.
I don't understand how they've got to be so dead. They're about to collapse.
Yeah, no, they have plenty of food, but their sanity is probably negative.
I don't know if they I don't know how much food you put in there or or well yeah, you're also using the smaller pals still on your
Yeah.
farm, so they're not eating as much.
It's the
Uh
berry. I got the 2 berry farms, so I probably have like 5,000 berries in that food basket.
yeah. 'Cause Zach, I'm like close to 110 hours
Oh yeah, no, I've
on this.
noticed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
so
I've
yeah,
seen
it's
that you have not gotten off. Like every time I look at Steam, there's John.
Have you hit 50 yet?
I haven't tried. It's like
Gotcha.
I'm 47, but it's like I could. The problem I'm in now is I'm in the material gathering crafting step
Gotcha.
before I can go out because uh like I need a ton of the best ball that I can make to actually catch enough stuff to get the levels.
Gotcha.
But
Have
yeah,
you, have you completed your PAL deck?
I have I have the 4 legends to get still.
Okay. Is that it? Is that literally
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Damn. Damn. Damn, that is a
Yeah,
grind.
I have the four legendary pals to get, and if they have a variant, then to get that. But other than that, yeah, I've got everything else.
I'm level 15. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, I've got all but the legendary pals. I've got most I've got most of the saddles for them.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I was
You
showing
achieved
Alex
Palworld.
earlier, Zach. I've got the Grizzbolt with the minigun now, so
Yeah.
Palworld has been achieved. Uh, I've got to make a couple more saddles for some of my pals. It takes a long time to make them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Crafting the stuff at the end of the game, it takes forever.
I'm not surprised by that, considering you literally have to create manufacturing lines.
Oh yeah, that's not even. It's like that stuff. The stuff for that's usually not too bad, but the saddles probably take the longest out of everything. It's at a point now where it's like the highest tier like ingot I can make is called a pal ingot, and I'm making them like 500 at a time.
Gotcha.
So it's like I set that to go, and then I gotta wait for them to be refined. So it's like that may take 30 minutes.
Right. Well,
So so yeah, it's kind of one of those where it's like since I'm casually playing it and not like
casually.
well like casually in the sense of, like I'm not running around like trying to collect all the ore myself or anything.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Uh, yeah, it's happening very casually and slowly.
yeah. Right.
But I'm basically gearing up to try to go catch everything to get the last few levels and then go catch the legends.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad you're having a fun. I'm glad you're having a blast with that thing still with your 110 hours in. Switching gears. We did
Yeah,
have
I might start breeding pals soon.
Ooh, we about to get spicy.
Yeah,
Start doing
and
some breeding.
I've like pretty much my pal box. I'm only keeping stuff that has like good traits for like any of my farm pals or my base pals. I only keep ones that have good traits on them for that,
Fair.
and then I'm collecting all of my other pals that have good traits for like battle and that.
Hmm.
So I have a bunch of variations of them, and then I'm gonna try to breed them all together.
That way you're ready for the Pal Arena whenever it comes.
Yeah, let's go.
I will be very
Take a
curious
while.
when the Pal Arena comes. Like, what sort of depth are you going to have in terms of the actual competitive? Because like, if you look at its counterpart, you look at Pokemon, right? Pokemon is so in depth; it's unreal. Like how much depth is to Pokemon competitive. So I'll be very curious to see what they'll do with Palworld and just taking the competitive approach. Like, how in depth are they going to get with
I
it?
mean, it'll be interesting considering if it continues how it currently is, and just you throw the pals out and then they just do their own thing.
Exactly. That's what I'm wondering. Is like, are they going to actually introduce moves, or is it going to be like, send them out and we'll see how it goes, kind of thing? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'll be very curious about that one. That one's going to be pretty interesting. But no, let's switch gears here. We had another big game release happen on Friday, one that Zach's been waiting on for quite some time. We had Tekken 8 come out. Came out with phenomenal reviews, back-to-back games come out the same day with the same damn review scores. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth with like 91, 92 on Metacritic.
Yep.
Tekken 8 with a 91, 92 on Metacritic. 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5s across the board for both games. You know, how's Tekken 8 going? You know, I have in the title, is Tekken 8 GOATED? Because I have no clue. I mean, it's highly reviewed. I know Tekken 3 is like the highest reviewed one in history.
Mhm.
You know, how's Tekken 8 going for you? I mean, I saw it's higher reviewed in the previous entry.
It's easily gonna be the winner of the fighting category this year.
Easily. Okay, love to hear
Yeah,
it.
unless some wild out of left field thing comes out, but Tekken 8's hands down gonna take it. I mean, it's over solid. The system's been overhauled. Oh, I say overhauled. It has been what am I trying to think of? It's been refined since
There we go.
7.
There we go.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I'm having fun. I mean, for anyone who's played a Tekken game, they can easily sort of flex into it and just go back into it if one of your mains is still there. I got sort of cucked this generation. None of my mains made the starting roster.
Oof.
Yeah. So I'm having to flex onto a character I haven't played since 5. So that's been fun relearning. Besides that, they do have a special mode where for anyone who doesn't want to learn all the combos, you can just smash buttons. And it's actually really nice because it's sort of funny. It's a quick switch on and off if you're on a controller. So like mid-fight, you can switch into it and just start smashing buttons.
Right.
If you can't figure out the combos. I mean, overall, it's just been solid. I haven't messed with online yet since I'm having to relearn some older characters for me. But I mean, they have the main story mode, which continues the overall story this time, seeing as they finished up Heihachi and Kazuya last time. It's now going to Kazuya and Jin. Haven't touched it yet, but
Which I'm just gonna jump in real quick here because you mentioning that, I just gotta say, Tekken has one of the most convoluted yet
Yes.
fascinating storylines
Yes.
I've ever seen. There's like 4-hour videos dedicated to try to break the story down, and I love them.
Yes. It makes no goddamn sense. Because because the main story is literally the Mishima family. Then for some fucking reason in 6, they added in Lars's whole backstory with him and the whole Mishima Corporation.
Yeah.
And then you have everyone's side stories, which one nice thing they brought back with this one is that they actually brought the character specific stories in versus 7. They were just like small little things mixed into the main story where you had to get so far in the main story where it's like, oh yeah, now you can play this character's character story, which is like one battle. So you didn't really get much from it. Yeah, no, the opening cinematic's amazing. Like it gets you full into like, yeah, no, Tekken's back. We're just gonna do this.
Yeah, Tekken's here. Welcome back.
Yeah, they also have being Tekken. They have just one weird game mode. They got Tekken Ball.
Nice.
Did either of y'all ever know the game Lethal League?
Yeah,
I know of it. I haven't played it.
It's Lethal League just with Tekken characters. You have a ball that's in the center. You smack it. You smack it. They have to hit it back, and as it gets volleyed, it hits more power. Once you get hit, you lose health. If it falls on your side of the map, you lose health.
okay.
It's just one of those dumb Tekken modes. They just, hey, here's this. Then they also have the arcade quest. So like, if you like Street Fighter's whole, hey, make your character go learn from the different characters' fighting styles, Tekken has anteed it up, and they've made the arcade quest, which is you make your own little avatar, and you go from local arcade to local arcade, winning circuits to get yourself into the big tournament for Tekken within this world.
Hmm.
This me verse me Tekken verse.
I did see like I think it was a TikTok I saw of like the character creator or at least I guess the character editor. I'm not sure what I saw of where someone made like a bunch of other anime characters someone made
That's the
Nabora.
actual character customization.
Okay, yeah, I saw
Yeah, no,
like
the character customization of Tekken's always been fairly in depth, letting
yeah.
you more or less make Tekken characters look at whatever.
Yeah, no, this
But-
looked really in depth because like even like the video was prompted from a reply comment. It's like, man, this is the kind of customization I wish Mortal Kombat had. And the person had made like Nabora, they made Gojo, they made Goku and Vegeta, they made Gohan, and it all looked really good.
Oh, yeah,
a
no,
lot
it's
better than I
solid.
thought it would look. I almost kind of like the stuff you'd see in like a Soul Calibur game for customization.
I mean, yeah, it goes pretty deep. I mean, you can literally make that entire roster look nothing like their characters if you really want to.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. One random thing I want to just kind of throw in there. I know they're like very vastly different for very different reasons, but involving like the very all over the place story. The first thing that I thought of was like John, since you're a big YouTube Shorts guy, you may have seen this guy before. I don't remember his channel name, but he's basically does a bunch of shorts of trying to explain a property or a series or whatever to someone else. And it's just like an overly complicated thing. I saw one recently where it's like trying to explain to someone the Legend of Zelda timeline, where it's just like, all right, the Legend of Zelda timeline, it starts with Skyward Sword. So it's like, so wait, the first Zelda is not the first Zelda? No, that's actually at the end of one of the timelines. Wait, what do you mean one of the timelines?
Yeah, I've seen these.
Yeah. It's just like, well, yeah, Ocarina of Time splits into 3 depending on this or that. And it's just like, so wait, all the links are related? Not technically. So that's the first thing I thought of when talking about like the Tekken stories. Like, it's just all over the place.
The main thing you should just need to know about the Tekken storyline is that the Mishima family likes to throw each other off cliffs.
I've seen that, yes.
That's literally how 6 out of the 7 I've played end.
Yeah.
Is somebody being thrown off a goddamn cliff.
They like throwing each other off cliffs, but they really like throwing each other off one specific cliff.
Yes.
Yes, there is a specific one they really like more than anything else.
Yeah, I've managed to stay almost completely blind to the release of Tekken 8 due to Palworld.
Yeah, shout out to Palworld.
So I haven't actually seen or played it yet. I'm probably gonna go ahead and buy it. Well, probably after we finish this, so that I don't forget.
Fair.
Because I have been excited for this game.
Yeah, true.
Overall, been having fun with it. There is 2 new characters, maybe 3rd. There's one I don't remember if he was a DLC or not in 7.
Mm-hmm.
Weird special agent guy named Victor.
Yeah,
I don't believe he was, but I could be wrong. I don't remember exactly.
gotcha. So I know you're still, fairly early into it, but how high would you rank this thing amongst the other Tekkens? Because that's some conversation I've seen a lot of on Twitter.
In terms of control scheme for me, I'd probably rank it pretty high up there. In terms of roster, I'd probably put it at either 2nd or 3rd, just because there is some characters I was like, because there's a lot of characters missing.
Right.
Okay, my boy's in there.
How wrong?
King.
Oh, King. Okay.
No.
Why was I thinking you played How Wrong?
I love playing How Wrong, but King's always been my boy in Tekken.
Okay.
He was my first character, and then it's like he's always the first character I play when I go back into it.
Gotcha. But I mean, the roster's still very good for all the characters and everything, and just overall redesigns for a lot of characters just because of how much time has passed now. I do find it funny that this time around they did make Kuma and Panda separate characters on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
Devil Jin's a separate character as usual. The weird thing is they don't have Devil Kazuya. Which is odd.
I didn't remember. Was Devil Kazuya?
Maybe I'm thinking of something else. No, Devil Kazuya is not a thing. He just
I was gonna say.
He just has the laser eye. That's right. My bad. He can just float around and shoot lasers out of his eye for no goddamn reason.
All right.
Yeah.
Is this going to end up being your favorite Tekken?
Probably not. That's probably going to stick with 6 because that's
was-
one I really got into and put too
I was-
much time into.
I was
Gotcha.
gonna say, it's not, even before you were answered, I'm like, he's probably gonna say 6. I remember you played the shit out of
I
6.
was just curious
Yeah,
of
I
what
put a
your
lot of
favorite
time
one
into
was more than anything because I didn't know. Because like I
mean,
said
6
earlier,
was very
Tekken
fun.
3 is actually the highest rated Tekken of all time.
I could see that.
Yeah, it was rated like a 96. So I think Tekken 8 is actually the second highest. I'd have to go back and look, but I was looking at that earlier because I saw where like Tekken 7 came in at like an 80. I was like, oh
Yeah, Tekken 7 was rough.
yeah. So like that's why everyone's so damn pumped about Tekken 8 right now. It's just like, oh, this game is great. This game's freaking amazing. And then like I know you haven't played it yet, but like I know people are saying the same thing about Infinite Wealth right now. Just the amount of positivity around that game right now. It is
I'm not
all
even
over my
surprised.
timeline.
I'm really not even surprised. I'm gonna be honest.
I saw a lot of people making jokes like Palworld. What's that? I'm playing Sujimon, whatever. It looks ridiculous.
I mean, Yakuza pops off because it's a Yakuza game.
Yeah, yeah.
Very few of those have dropped that and not been well received, especially now with Yakuza having so much hype behind it now after 06 and then Like a Dragon. So
Right,
I was
yeah.
gonna say, it's really felt in the last probably like 5 years, especially, that like Yakuza went from it almost went from, it felt like kind of, it was there, but
it was a
like
known
you
entity.
had to you almost had to look for it, and then
Right.
when you found it, you were like, oh yeah, here's all these people that love this,
Yeah.
and now it's just, now everyone's exposed to it.
Yeah,
Right.
Yakuza really did have a pop off a couple years back with Zero and Song of Life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then it kind of had that again with Like a Dragon, because Like a Dragon, I think, reached way more people than it should have.
Oh, easily because of the weird RPG thing they decided to do with it.
Yeah, it's like people that normally weren't, like, they probably tried to play like a Yakuza or something and was like, probably not for me. Saw this, played it, and was like, okay, maybe we'll give it another shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, now everyone's playing Infinite Wealth, just having a great time, calling it one of the best RPGs they've played in a long time. That's high praise.
I mean, it's a different kind of RPG. It definitely gives you a refreshed feeling in playing an RPG versus most usual ones.
Yeah, true.
Just because it does have that Like a Dragon spin
Yeah,
and the ridiculousness that it is.
I gotcha. All right, boys. So the next like title headline topic I had is just under the weekly wrap up. So before we actually hit that and just kind of start leading towards the end of the show, do you guys have any other topics from the week that we kind of want to dive into? I mean, there's plenty of stuff in the weekly wrap up to kind of touch on and chat about, but anything in particular that I don't have listed that we kind of want to maybe talk about, whatever.
I don't got anything particular now.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've all just been playing either Palworld, Tekken.
Yeah, we already
Persona.
talked about Palworld.
Yeah, already did that. So
I haven't done anything else.
yeah, I feel you. I've been still playing, a little bit of Palworld every day. Beat Persona 5 Royal, playing Persona 5 Tactica. That's all I've been up to. I'm very excited for Persona 3 Reload. I'm excited for Zach to give me $10.
I assume so by that sudden picture and text you sent me.
Yeah, very well. Zach, you know how I am about colors. Okay, I like colors. It was a pretty
Yes.
picture that someone shared. Okay, but no, very excited for Zach to give me $10 because that's going to be an easy peasy bet. But anyway, all right. So if we got nothing else, let's go ahead and hit the weekly wrap up. Then we got a lot of stuff on here to go over. So the first thing is involving a Switch 2 report that came out. This is via Bloomberg. The Switch 2 will, in fact, launch this year, as we all expect it will. But it's going to be coming with an 8-inch LCD screen. This does line up with reports from last year of the screen being LCD instead of OLED. So while we're projecting the console to be on the realm of like a PS4 Pro of power or something like that, in terms of screen, we're going backwards, it feels like. And that's where a lot of people have been kind of a little like, oh, okay, come on, really? There's been some more technical people about it. It's just like, hey, an LCD screen can still look fantastic depending on the one they use. So it may not be that big of a deal. But then there's the other side. It's just like, great. So this is just another way for them to just get money out of us because they're going to release the OLED later, and price points and shit.
here's the other thing of the way I look at it. Everybody's complaining about this. Everybody always complains about the screen. They're like, oh, we want the OLED screen and everything. Play fucking Nintendo games on it. These games aren't typically the like the most graphical games that you need the best screen and the best way to see the game.
Right, that's fair.
More often than not, it's like we're looking at a Nintendo stylized game.
Yeah,
Who gives a shit if we have an LCD screen?
right.
It's like give us something that can handle the game.
That's true. That's big truth.
I
If it can
don't,
handle
I
the
don't
game,
care
then
what
go
the
from
screen
there.
is as long as the game plays good.
Yeah. No, that's very true and very accurate. You know, because like as long as it handles the game, I think it'll be fine no matter what. Because it's almost like with people being so upset about this. And don't get me wrong, a part of me is kind of upset too, because I personally slept on the fact of what an OLED would like look like playing. Because I played some handheld for my Switch, it was fine. Like I played Pokemon on it, it was great. I get the OLED, and like once I finally played it, I was like, oh, dude, this is actually really nice. So I am in the bummed camp, but I'm also in the camp of it's not that big of a deal because like you're most likely playing a Nintendo stylized game, and it's gonna run fine. And depending on the type of LCD screen they use, it's probably still going to look good. And it's not like it's not like if you had it an OLED, it's not like you're gonna get a 4K picture in handheld, people. You know what I mean?
No.
You're gonna like I'm going to be crossing my fingers that we get a 1080p in handheld. I'm just gonna be real. I'm not gonna be surprised if it's still 720. You know what I mean? Like I'm just keeping it real on this. Like, so I think it's fine. It does feel like a step backwards, and it does feel like a scummy corpo move of like, oh, we're gonna release the OLED later and make more money. It's like I know you can make the arguments, oh, well, it's like they're worried about price point. Who gives a shit? It's gonna sell no matter what. Okay, like
Yeah.
who gives a shit? Go ahead and launch it as an OLED. It's gonna freaking sell. Who gives a shit? It's gonna make money. But whatever. You know, that's interesting report. Does line up with reports that I saw from last year from an insider that I follow. So I would go ahead and book that one in, lock it in. 8-inch LCD screen for your Switch 2. It'll be fine. Looking forward to it. Next thing we got, unfortunate one. Got a bloodbath, boys. Hate these. Hate bloodbaths. 2023, best year in gaming history in terms of the games. Worst year in gaming history for the people that make these games. Got a big bloodbath here from Microsoft. They are laying over 1,900 Activision Blizzard and Xbox employees off. With this, the entire Xbox fiscal game department has been cut, which
The future is now.
breaks my damn heart. Like, oh my God. I mean, look. Now, here's the thing. I'm very safely assuming this just means Xbox, Microsoft first party games, you know? That's my safe assumption on this because like I looked at the numbers for I saw the sales percentages for like physical versus digital for all three consoles, and Xbox's was so drastically low, and I just personally think it's just because of Game Pass. So that's why I really do believe that these numbers are based off like their first party numbers because like Switch was like a 50% still of physical and digital. PlayStation, surprising, was 40%. Shout out to that. I didn't know it was 40% physical sales. And then Xbox was 10% of sales are physical. So I can't help but to think that maybe the physical department being cut, it won't have impact to third-party games, and it's just more so going to be impacting the first-party games. We saw the news of
More than
Starfield.
likely, yeah.
Yeah, we saw the news of Starfield getting pulled, which I did see that the other day, by the way. The games are already gone, but they even put the tag up for Starfield for 3 cents at Walmart. So shout out to that. You know, the no Hellblade 2 physical edition coming out. So I want to believe this is going to be just for Xbox games,
Yeah,
not
I
third
mean,
parties.
Gonna be depressing collector's editions going forward.
Very.
Xbox has been moving towards, like, with their immense push of Game Pass, like you said, they've been moving towards getting rid of like physical editions for a while. It's just I guess they've just finally hit the point where they're like, it makes sense now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just at that time, unfortunately. I hate it.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep buying physical games as long as I can, boys. As long as I can. With all these cuts, one thing that came as a little bit of a shock is that Blizzard's new IP they announced like last year or the year before, it's the survival game they're working on, that has been completely canceled after 6 years of development. The only reasoning that I saw behind the cancellation, it's still years out from being released. It's not because it was
Yes.
bad. All the internal review was it was a really fun game to play. It was just years out from being released, so that's why I got canceled. So that's hyper unfortunate. With this all as well, this one was already kind of previously announced, so it's not like this one's like breaking news. But the Overwatch League also has officially ended after 6 seasons. So I mean, it's just a massive bloodbath, and like to give an example to everyone of how much of a bloodbath it is, and how much of an uncertainty it is within the organization itself. Like I saw where Jason Schreier put out where he was getting texts from people that he knows at Activision Blizzard or Xbox, texting him asking, "Hey, have you happened to hear if my job is safe or not?" Like they don't even know; they have no clue. So this one sucks, boys. This one sucks. Feel for him. I saw a guy that I follow. He's a big RPG, player and stuff. He puts out a lot of great stuff that I like to check out on Twitter. Where he put out a tweet and talking about the game industry, where it's just like the game industry is at a point where there is no chance that I would take a chance on moving me and my family across the country for a job opportunity in the game industry. He's like, shout out to all the game companies that are going like full remote and allowing remote, because it's just such a safer option with the uncertainty of this industry. And I totally agree. Like we've seen it over 2023, like gaming is in the biggest uncertainty that it's ever been in terms of jobs. Like people get like, I think it's like, I saw like the statistic of like over 9,000 people in 2023 alone lost their jobs at some point. Like, dude, that's insane. Like, and now here we are in 1 month in to 2024, and we've got 1,900 up on the chopping block for Xbox. And it's just weird timing too. You know what I mean? They just finished this big deal with Activision Blizzard and everything, and now you're immediately cutting 1,900 people. I don't know, man. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. And if it's because of sales and stuff, hey, need to take a page out of the late president of Nintendo's book, where like during the Wii U era, where they were constantly losing money, dude cut his own salary, I think like 3 times, and I don't think a single person got laid off during that era. He just took the loss on himself and personally made sure that no one got laid off. So shout out to that dude, absolute legend, rest in peace. Another set of layoffs that I did come across, and this involves TMNT: The Last Ronin. If you guys remember that big game announcement, looking forward to that one. But unfortunately, the studio working on the game has also been hit with layoffs. About 50% of the studio has been impacted. The studio is only about 115 people, so it's about 50-ish people has been laid off, unfortunately. That studio is Black Forest Games, but that is unfortunate, and that's a big stick in the side there for The Last Ronin. That's a game that just the general story behind it of TMNT: The Last Ronin is one that I'm really excited for. So just man, I hope the game's not going to be ass. John and I already fangirled about this at the beginning, but we did have a new Dragon Ball Sparking Zero trailer released just here today when we're doing the show, and that is pretty sick. Another thing that's pretty sick is apparently the Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake may come out a little bit sooner. The trophy list appeared on the PSN network, which could indicate that the game is right around the corner.
That's actually surprising.
I agree. That is massively surprising. I thought this game was going to be like 2-3 years out easy because of the developmental hell. Yeah, see, I thought it was potentially dead. But it coming out this year, let's go. Let's get it. Also, for anyone interested in buying the Lost Crown, I talked about this before. QVC is once again doing their new account promotion where you get the Lost Crown for $30 if you sign up for a QVC account and use the code NEWJANUARY. So you can get the game for $30 right now. Brand new game, reviewed very well. If you already made an account, make another one. Use a different email. I've done it. It works. It's all good. So this one is kind of interesting. Apparently, there's a rumor that Until Dawn is coming out with a remastered version for the PS5 and the PC. Love to hear that one, boys. That one's pretty sick. I do actually have an article pulled up involving this. This is from Insider Gaming, which, of course, that's Tom Henderson. There was a Twitter user who is a known leaker and insider. He's got his info, he's got his info. He's been correcting quite a bit of stuff in the past, and put out a cryptic little tweet here involving the date roughly of the next state of play, plus kind of told everyone what was going to be in it. So he tweeted out that on the 31st, roughly, Ronins will rise, we will die stranded, have a rebirth, and Kojima will fulfill his dream. Sonic will live in the shadow of his generation, while the hills will remain silent until the dawn when you need to reach the metro. Just don't be a Judas about it. So basically saying Rise of the Ronin, Death Stranding 2, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Sonic Generations Remastered, Silent Hill 2, new Metro game, and Judas, and of course Until Dawn. All games that are projected to potentially be in a state of play. That sounds like a pretty damn good state of play in my opinion, if that ends up being correct. He's got some stuff right in the past, so it could very well be correct. Plus,
Why did he make it a riddle?
that's what I was wondering too. It's like the Riddler that does all the Pokemon shit, that cringy dude. It's like the same
Yeah.
thing. But yeah, a very well put together tweet. I'll give him props.
I mean, yeah.
10 out of 10. Good read. I enjoyed it. But that is pretty exciting though, man. I love Until Dawn. It's one of my favorite horror games of all time. Like I absolutely love that game. I've played it. It's a fun game to play with friends. I mean, I've got friends who are not even fans of gaming and have sat and watched me play this game because it's just like just the story and just the whole concept behind it. It's just like when all the three of us played through the Quarry together, and we were doing the director's chair mode, whatever.
Yeah.
That was fun.
It's crazy that Until Dawn is still getting new releases.
Yes.
I mean, it was solid.
I mean, it was a solid game. I watched more gameplay, like playthroughs of this game than I have for games I've like just about any other game, really.
Yeah.
Because it was just fascinating to see people in different points of it.
True.
I mean, I'm
But it's
waiting
just-
for Supermassive's next game with tie-in with Dead by Daylight.
Big true. Plus another Dark Pictures anthology at some point, I believe.
Yep.
Releases for them, like in between game releases for them, they're just like, fuck it. There. Or it's like anytime there's like a lull in games, it's like new copy of Until Dawn, put it on something else.
They'll buy it. I'm buying it. Like you put that thing out on PS5, you best believe I'm buying it, man. I love Until Dawn.
Also, Alex, we need to put on a calendar when we're going to actually run through the Dark Anthology.
That is true. I did pick it up recently, so that is very true. How many players can that go up to?
I mean, it has a lot of the features that the Quarry had, so I mean, you can do where somebody controls each character,
Oh, okay. All right, cool. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to running through those.
or you can just do online duo and more or less YouTube vote on what the hell is going to happen.
That's also very interesting. Well, see, I have it on. I bought them on PlayStation, so I don't know if we needed to work around that in some capacity.
I mean, we could just do like how we did with the Quarry and do
Okay.
a Discord party.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fine. Anyway, next thing up, thought this was funny. The day before is back in the news, boys. The day before
I
developers.
saw this article and was very confused.
Yeah, the day before our developers blames articles and bloggers for the game's failure, saying that blogs and articles wrote about the game with false information, which then drove content creators to play the game and completely shit on it. Which I think if they're playing the game, you can see them playing the game. There's video footage of them playing the game that's very clearly a different game than you advertise, and the game is dog shit. I don't think that's at the fault of the articles. I think it's at the fault you have a shit game, bud. But
You know,
whatever.
This is one of those times where it's like, you have a shit game, and then you took the game down, said, "That's it, we're done, we're not doing it anymore."
Yep.
All you have to do is stay silent, and this will eventually go away, and nobody will remember it. But you cannot keep coming out and making comments about it.
Yeah. Then it's gonna get
It's like-
back at the front of people's minds, like, oh, that shit show of a game, that dumpster
It's
fire.
like they've just been sitting there spewing
Yeah.
since they went radio silent. So they're just probably like, no, time to fight back.
Yep. It's time is now, baby. This game was great. You just don't see it. Nah, that one is ass, boys. Like, look, that I'll defend some bad games like Forspoken, but that one's straight ass. Like, I think everyone across the planet can agree to that one.
Yeah, it was not good.
So another thing that we had this week, we had a new FNAF game revealed. It was actually interesting how this got revealed. The trailer got leaked out, and instead of making a big deal about it, Scott came out. It's just like, well, I really wanted to keep it kind of hush hush a little bit longer, but it's all good. We'll chat about it. So I guess shout out to him for being a good sport. Leaks suck, but I mean, shout out to that. But it's called FNAF Into the Pit. It's a 10th anniversary game. It's a 2D side scroller. It actually looks really clean. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, me and
Hey,
Christina
props
watched the
to him
trailer.
to try and do another genre again.
Yeah,
'Cause
no,
last time he did that, it failed epically.
yeah. I mean, no, this one actually looks pretty sick, man. I'm not gonna lie. It was actually pretty impressive. just the general visual approach for it. So big kudos to this one, FNAF Into the Pit. Keep a lookout for that one. Also, keep a lookout for this. Nintendo will officially end support for Wii U and 3DS online play and functions on April 8th. So if you are in a situation where maybe you've got some Pokemon on on some older games, whatever, that you want to get ported up, get it done. Pokemon Bank is active and free. Since they got rid of all the shop stuff, Pokemon Bank is free. So if you downloaded it, you're good to go. So if you've been dragging your feet on this, and maybe you got some good Pokemon that you really attached to on your X and Y or whatever the case is, get to it. Get it moved up. Get it moved up to your home. Hop to it. Really random thing here. Focus Entertainment is rebranding to Pull Up Entertainment in April. Why? I do not know. Kudos to them, I guess.
Personally, I feel like they could have chose a better name.
I do too. Pull Up Entertainment. Pull Up, man. I don't know, man. Whatever. Just I thought Focus Entertainment was good. Got a sick logo. The name was fine. Like, I don't know, man. That's a weird one, but. All right, last thing on the news for the week. This is involving the Universal Studios Orlando stuff. Of course, Nintendo World is set to open next year. We did talk about some rumors a couple weeks ago involving different things happening at the parks. I do have sources in this situation, so shout out to that. The one and only time in my life that I'm gonna have sources on a situation. So Eiji Aonuma was spotted at Universal Studios Orlando Epic Universe in the construction zone from an Instagram video that I believe was put up from like a Universal account. I did not go look at the Instagram video myself, but I did see the pictures from it. The video has since been deleted. That just tells me that was supposed to be very hush-hush that he was there. Before that video even came out, my sources did tell me that at this point, Zelda seems to be a lock for one of the parks. Now, it's now a question of which park, if it's going to be Islands of Adventure replacing the Lost Continent, kind of like it's being speculated, or if it's going to be now moved to the Epic Universe, because Luigi's Mansion is completely just up in the air, unknown. But the other news update I have, Pokemon is basically a lock to replace Simpsons at this point. All the sources that I've gathered and have told me that Pokemon is for sure replacing Simpsons in Universal Studios Florida. Which honestly makes a lot of sense because the contract is set to be up in I don't know how long, maybe a year, 2 years from now, of where Universal has the rights for The Simpsons. And keep in mind, Simpsons is now owned by Disney, Universal's biggest competitor. Why would they want to re-sign that? So looks like Pokemon will be replacing Simpsons, and then potentially Zelda and Islands of Adventure, and then of course Nintendo World in the Epic Universe. So that is the current update. So that is per my sources. So shout out to that. Very exciting. If you're waiting for all the park stuff to happen, maybe you've never been to Universal Studios. Got some good shit on the way. So that's all I had for the weekly wrap up, boys. You guys got anything else?
I do find it funny that the parks are moving away from TV animation and film stuff to just outright gaming stuff parks now.
I love it. I love it, baby. I'm here for it. I'm very pumped for Nintendo World next year. So damn excited. Not going this year. Not
It's
going.
just you being copyright struck when you first enter the park.
Nah,
That'd be pretty good.
Relax. No. That would be funny. It's like, oh, here's your copyright strike. Here's your cease and desist. Here's this. Here's this. It's like, you get to see the ninjas.
Put your cameras away. You can't take any pictures.
No cameras. Get out of here. So anyway, that's all I had for the weekly wrap up. You boys got anything else?
No, I don't got anything till next week. So
Okay, John, what about you?
I don't get nothing. I'm just
All right. Music is playing, boys. Last thoughts. Let's get out of here.
like, comment, subscribe, rate, whatever your platform allows. It does help. Come back and do that. So when you subscribe, you'll come back.
Okay then, yeah, do what he said, I guess. If you like what you saw with us here, we typically do these on Saturdays about 6 p.m. Central Time. So come check us out whenever we do the next one.
Which will be next Saturday. We'll be on next Saturday. On Sunday this week, as John and I had to watch the Royal Rumble. It was fantastic. But yeah, next week we'll be back on Saturday. Very excited for it because I will be chatting about Persona 3 Reload. Plus, we'll be chatting about whatever else comes out through the week. Maybe the state of play. We'll see if that happens. But make sure to check us out on our website, spiky3.com. You sign up for free or sign up for $5 a month, and we would appreciate that extra support. Just like we'd appreciate that extra support if you checked out some Rogue Energy with the referral link down below, promo code Sparky3 to get 10% off, and buy a jersey from Agent Inc. as well. The link's down below. Join the Discord, be a friend, tell a friend. Until next time, bye.